Miami Dolphins lost an executive. You can tell by the title. It's not like I'm surprising you. But could they possibly lose more? And what does this mean for the team? We will talk about it on this Monday after we find out who's winning going to the Super Bowl. That intro was hot garbage. What is up, Fin fans? Yes, you could tell by the title. The Miami Dolphins did lose Reggie McKenzie. I will go into full detail on where he went, what happened, why it happened, how can we prevent it from happening again. I don't know if we can prevent it from happening again. And are we going to get a comp pick of it? Because that is something that started in November of 2020. And I will go into that, as well as there were some other things that happened and possibly could happen. But real quick, I'm going to delve more into this. Wow, I'm not doing Super Bowl picks this week because it's the Pro Bowl this week. It's following week of Super Bowl picks. Interesting. That was a crazy game. Eagles game, no. Beat the crap out of them. That Bills-Chiefs game, crazy game. Down to the wire. Chiefs won by a field goal. Absolutely nuts. Congratulations, Chiefs. Now you can kick rocks. Bills aren't in the Super Bowl. Chiefs are. So Chiefs-Eagles again. Just like last year, it was Chiefs-49ers again. And it's boring. So I'm rooting for Saquon Barkley. I'm not rooting for the Eagles. I don't like the Eagles. I'm rooting for Saquon Barkley. Before we jump into the meat and potatoes, there is a trivia for today. The Dolphins capped a 3-0 start to their wild card playoff season in 2022 by beating what visiting division rival? It's hilarious. Hilarious that I was just talking about this. So, yes, let's jump into this. The Miami Dolphins have lost Reggie McKenzie to the Tennessee Titans. He is joining their front office as a senior scouting role, source says. The former Raider GM and respected personnel man will support Mike, not even going to try to pronounce that last name, Chad Brinker and Dave Ziegler. So Reggie McKenzie has left the Dolphins and went to the Titans. The Dolphins had to have let him go or let this happen. He did go and interview for their GM position with the Tennessee Titans, but they went with obviously a different GM, and then the Dolphins essentially were like, yeah, you can go join the Titans. If the Dolphins didn't want him to join the Titans, he would not have joined the Titans because it's kind of the same position. It's kind of a senior personnel executive role. So if the Dolphins were like, no, we want you to stay, or if Chris Grier's like, look, I really need your help still, and you really blah, 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 he wouldn't have went. The Dolphins could have stopped him and kept him there because I think it's the same role. But the Dolphins let him go, went to the Tennessee Titans. So it's not like a jumping ship type situation. He was hired by the Miami Dolphins in 2019 to 2024, again, as a senior personnel executive. Essentially that, helps, my brain is just not working. It essentially helps Chris Grier with day-to-day things and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So, he would help him and kind of like talk about things and help the scouts and give his thoughts and opinions, yada, yada. But in the end, it was up to Chris Grier to make the decision because Reggie McKenzie is a touted, very good scout. He did help the Raiders get some very good players. So he's with the Tennessee Titans now. Now, the question that everyone wants to know, do we get a comp pick for this? And I looked it up, and this is from the NFL site. In November of 2020, team owners approved a proposal rewarding teams who develop minority talent that went on to become GMs or head coaches across the league. If a team lost a minority executive or a coach to another team, that team would receive a third-round comp pick for 2 years. If a team lost both a coach and a personnel member, it would receive a third-round comp pick for 3 years. Now, here is where it could get convoluted, right? Because the team owners approved a proposal rewarding teams who develop minority talent that went on to become GMs or head coaches. right? But then it says, if a team loses a minority executive or coach to another team, that team would receive a third round comp pick for 2 years. Now, if you take reading comprehension and take that paragraph, then it obviously, from what I'm getting, is the Dolphins would have had to lost Reggie McKenzie to the Titans to become their GM, because the sentence before says become a GM or a head coach. So from what I'm getting, no, the Dolphins aren't getting any comp picks for Reggie McKenzie leaving and joining the Tennessee Titans. So there is that. Am I going to cry and kick my feet around and be upset and blah, 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 blah over the loss of Reggie McKenzie? No, I am not. The scouting department has been, we've hit on some picks, we've missed on others. But again, it all comes down to scouts come and say, hey, this is what I found on so-and-so. And another scout says, this is what, okay, we're going to send you to Texas to go watch their pro day. We're going to send you to Nebraska, Ohio. We're going to send all our scouts out, come back, compile the information. You're going to tell it to me, Reggie McKenzie, and I don't remember the third gentleman that is in the front office that helped. They're going to come, they're going to tell, they're going to talk about this is what we have. Then Chris Grier is going to talk to Reggie McKenzie and so, and then come to an understanding. Draft day comes. It all comes down to one person making the pick. And that is Chris Grier. One person signing the free agent. That is Chris Grier. One person re-signing or cutting a player. That is Chris Grier. Unless you have, I know Brian Flores had control of the 53-man roster, so when it came to cutting players, that was up to Brian Flores and what he wanted to do. So that's what it all comes down to. So again, losing Reggie McKenzie, I'm indifferent about it. It's nor good nor bad, because at the end of the day, the head of the snake is still on there, and Chris Grier, and all the decisions are still running through him. So there's that. Another thing, Cowboys have requested to interview Dolphins assistant coach, outside linebacker coach, Ryan Crow for their DC job. And if you're like, wait a second, did this already happen? No, because that was the New England Patriots who have reached out to interview Ryan Crow for their defensive coordinator position, because Ryan Crow, again, was an outside linebacking coach with the Tennessee Titans with Mike Vrabel. So 2 different teams have reached out and contacted and wanted to interview Ryan Crow to be their defensive coordinator. Now, again, no comp picks here. It has to be a head coach or a GM. So don't even think about that. But obviously the Dolphins do have good defensive position coaches if these teams are trying to poach them. Speaking of good defensive position coaches, this is this is what came out on the 24th, which was Friday. We have completed an in-person interview with Anthony Weaver for our head coach position. So why am I showing you this 2 days later? Because yesterday it came to fruition and came to light that Joe Brady took himself out of the running or wanting to be interviewed by the New Orleans Saints for their head coaching position. Now, again, I think you have to be with the Dolphins for a certain amount of years for the comp picks to work, because I know that comp pick question is going to get brought up because, hey, our defense coordinator is going to become a head coach. He wasn't here long enough. He was here for 1 year. We don't get the comp pick. But that brings, again, the thought process coming in. They're still going to talk to Mike McCarthy. I think they're going to talk to Kellen Moore. There's a few more guys that the Saints are going to interview. Now, Joe Brady, again, took himself out, so I thought they would have signed him now that the Bills are out. But unfortunately, Robert Saleh has officially gone back to the San Francisco 49ers, so that kind of knocks a name off of my list of potential defensive coordinators. So Robert Saleh is gone. Now, again, if we lose Anthony Weaver, which I do not want to lose Anthony Weaver. I do like him as the defensive coordinator, and I think, he will get a head coaching job, and maybe with the Dolphins. There are still three, possibly four defensive coordinators that I would be interested in bringing in. Obviously, Robert Saleh is gone. Now, I will really go into full detail, give you more names, give you more ideas, give you more thoughts on who I'd want as our new defensive coordinator if he leaves. Again, I'm hoping and praying he does not leave, but obviously I talked about Jim Schwartz. I talked about Wink Martindale. I talked about Patrick Graham, and there was one name I forgot to bring up who I'd very be interested in, and that's Jack Del Rio. He would be a nice little addition to the defensive coordinator position and all that stuff. But again, to sum it all up, I do not want to lose Anthony Weaver. I like what he did with this Dolphin defense, and I think with a healthy Jalen Phillips, I don't know what they're doing, Bradley Chubb. That's a video in itself. I think he can really help, and I think, I have a video talking about the cap space, how we can move money, allocate money. I already had a video talking about Tua's contract. If you want to go watch it, how we can save $19 million, but also it'll hurt us in the long run. Go watch the video. It's a 15-minute video, 20-minute video, if that. Maybe they can bring in, because to me, the offense doesn't need that much help. It's another video, needs. We need guards. We need 2 guards, starters. Tackles would be nice, but I'm thinking they're going to run with Patrick Paul, and obviously we have Austin Jackson. We have our center. We just need 2 guards, and then kind of depth, and maybe a big receiver. Like, the offense is not the problem. It's the defense that is the problem that they need to focus on. And if Anthony Weaver, someone said, hey, who's Curtis Weaver? We drafted him, and then he ended up not doing anything. If Anthony Weaver could stay, then he can put his thumbprint and say, these are the guys that I think will thrive in this defense. Go out and get bop, 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 and bop. Bring him in this defense. It's going to help. I do think this offseason is going to be defensive heavy, but obviously some offense sprinkled in. That's my opinion. I will go into way more detail with that. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the thumbs up if you like this video. I'm just trying to get this video 150 likes. I do see the likes. I can see them, but you can't see them. So the answer to the trivia question, the Dolphins capped a 3-0 start to their wildcard playoff season in 2022 by beating what visiting division rival 21-19. That was the Buffalo Bills, and that was the last time the Dolphins beat the Buffalo Bills. That was that Heat game where they made the excuse, it was too hot, this isn't fair, I'm contacting OSHA, blah. And now we don't have 1 o'clock games in September unless they're against Florida teams. But comment below, let me know what you think. What's your thoughts on losing Reggie McKenzie? What's your thoughts on possibly losing Ryan Crow? What's your thoughts on possibly losing Anthony Weaver? I've talked about that a lot. And who would you replace him with? Comment below. I will see you tomorrow in the next video. I have a lot planned for this week, so hopefully you enjoy it. Again, hit that thumbs up. Let's hit a quota. Let's hit 200 likes. Very simple. Just boop. And then that's all you got to do. And I'll see you tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.